Welcome to Date with Danu, the naked truth on your luxury channel. Thank you for joining us today. It's an important show as we come to the tail end of Pride Month and Sri Lanka celebrating it loud and proud this year. We wanted to speak to four very prominent personalities in the community and also the ones who have created waves in their own lives, being achievers on their own rights. A little bit about what is the community standing for right now and where is the community being placed and positioned in this country. Let's speak more about it as we get on with the show. Welcome to Date with Danu.
Hi, this is Bhoomi Harendran.
Hi, it's me, GaaPiNk.
We are here to go on a date with Danu.
Hi, I'm Dinushi.
And I'm Kahless.
We are here to
Go on a date with Danu.
This is my second time in this show.
I'm so excited it's my first time with Danu, like I'm in the show. So, but we know each other for a long time.
Yeah, more than like 6 years.
6 to 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sweet to do this show with Danu because he's a sweet person too.
Yes.
So yeah, hope to
yeah.
sweet time.
I'm really excited to be here because this is my favorite TV show, one of my favorite TV shows. So I actually can't believe that I'm in this TV show today.
I grew up watching Danu actually, so this is a great and very interesting turn of events. You know, from being on the other side of the screen to being on screen. It's really cool.
Welcome back, and we have a wonderful set of people here. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
They all took more time to dress than me. Just wanted to say that. With me, I have Bhoomi, who has been on the show before, and who took the longest time. And I have Kahless. Got it right?
Yes, you got it right.
Kahless. Because I was calling him Jaden all this time, and now he wants me to call him Kahless. So now I have to get used to Kahless in my head. Can you just, and that was just told to me now, and it's not easy. We have a Gayan on the extreme corner. He also is a singer. There are some amazing songs that he has done, and we will speak about that as well. And we have this lovely young lady who is actually, this is your second interview?
Yes.
Yeah, and the one who was on time. So I'm very happy to have Dinushi. Thank you for joining me today. All of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. To start things off, there is an understanding issue on what transgender is. So as the three of you represent this community, if you could just give me an insight to what it means to explain to someone who is yet not willing to understand it. Not that they can't, they're just not willing to.
So basically, the people who, 4 of us are representing the trans community. It's a umbrella term, and it's transgender means it's a gender identity, how you identify yourself, whether as a man or a woman or non-binary person or androgyny person or gender neutral person. There are so many gender identities. As I heard and as I learned, there are 64 gender identities in this world. It will change, country to country and, culture to culture. As an example, in India, there are few, I can mention few gender identities like Hijra, Koti, Panti, trans men, trans women, so just like that. So
in Sri Lanka, how many were you able to make a count on that?
In the beginning, when I started my journey, we had only trans men, women, and nachis.
And is that a term that people use?
Which one?
Nachi?
Yes, it's a very old term that community use itself.
Right.
So, so as I mentioned, there were no non-binary, gender-neutral movement in Sri Lanka before. So I'm glad that the younger generation nowadays, they are coming up with it and speaking about it and do awareness about it. So yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Gayan, you identify yourself as gender fluid. You didn't want to label yourself in any form, and even your music speaks the same thing. Tell me about, have you had to explain this to people? And or you are not so fussy about people addressing you as he, him, it doesn't affect you?
Yeah, I think people are free to self-define themselves or
Okay.
like reject this binary code. So for me, it was like, of course, I have gone through situations like, you know, people are being confused and asking me whether like, you know, are you like, do you want to be a transgender? Like, are you in the process or something? So like, there were situations that I was actually pissed off, like, you know, like, so.
It's okay, we can swear.
I'm like, no, it's just me, the way I am, and like, you know, like, I love to be like this, and all the time I was like doing a lot of research about like to find out like, is there any other people like me? So like, you know, because being a non-binary person in Sri Lanka is like, I haven't seen many non-binary people are like, you know, like.
And I don't think a lot of people
visible.
use that term. So they, even if they do identify themselves as non-binary, they are unable to fathom and put a word to it. So they are
Yeah.
just lost in the whole sectioning.
Yeah, and the thing is, some people actually, they don't even like to like label themselves as like, you know, so-called the community people. So, but in a situation like this, and like, you know, visibility is like really important.
Kahless, how was it for you, your time in school? Did you realize when you were in school that the assigned gender at birth for you was not the gender that you wanted to be in?
Actually, it's something that I knew when I was very, very young.
Okay.
So I always sort of thought of myself as a boy. So whenever someone called me a girl, tried to treat me like a girl, I get really annoyed and I throw a fit until they just stop. At one point, my parents would, you know, jokingly be like, "This is our son."
And they didn't understand how deep it was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it all changed when I hit puberty the first time around, because then people started seeing me differently. My body changed so much. Like,
And you physically didn't want it to change.
yeah, like it was a complete divergence from how I saw myself. And that was kind of like the beginning of the end for me at that time. I was distraught. I just sort of fell into a deep, deep depression. My grades suffered, and I couldn't make friends anymore. It's just sort of like you just kind of like build a cave for yourself and just sit in it. But like inside.
I just wanted to know, how was it physically that you had no control over how your body will change? And that's nature. Like, I would not want this mustache to grow, but it will grow the minute I pass a certain age. But how did you personally reject your body, or did you accept it, or didn't you want like your breast growing and all of this? Was it something that was just painful?
Yeah. So, like I said before, once I hit puberty, things just derailed from there. So, I would wear so many layers when I went out, because I hated my body so much, but I would wear a vest, I would wear another one on top of it, then I would wear a t-shirt, and then I would wear a shirt on top of it. My parents would just like, they would be like, "Are you crazy? It's like,
It's so warm.
it's so warm, you're
But
going to die.
they never
We're going to
understood.
PETA, you don't need to dress up." You know, like, so, but I couldn't tell them why I'm dressing up. I was
But
just
they
like,
never understood when they saw you, your mannerisms, no.
I guess they just assumed I was a difficult child and then ran with it.
Right.
Because like, yeah, and I just kind of like, at one point I was just like, yeah, this is me now.
Just difficult.
Yeah, I'm just difficult,
Yeah.
totally punk, you know.
Yeah.
So I just ran with it because it was easier than explaining that I'm trans and
True.
depressed. So
Yeah.
it's just easier to act out and try to be rebellious. So people leave you alone.
Yeah. And how old were you when you decided that you want to speak to your parents about it?
I didn't decide. I was just going to stay in the closet forever.
Right.
But this was in 2018, I think like 2018 April. I remember my dad and I had
And how old were you at that time?
I turned 21 that year, so I was 21. I was fully planned to run away to a different country and then like transition in secret and live my life out in secret, because I didn't know anyone. Like I didn't know there were organizations here
There
or
was a
anything.
community that could embrace you. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know Bhoomi existed.
Yeah.
Thank God. We started NTN
Yeah, which
in 2018, yeah. So
Yeah.
no wonder.
So yeah, so my dad and I had this huge argument one day, and I knew, just to piss him off, just to spite him, I knew there's one thing I could tell him that would just end the conversation, and I could walk out of there the winner. And I was like, I'm leaving the house and I'm going to transition. I'm a man, by the way. And he was just like, well, that was unexpected. That is not what I was expecting. But you know what? I did. I walked out a winner that day. So that was just kind of like, I didn't decide. It just happened.
it just happened. And you felt like you were pushed to a corner and that was the only way you could come out of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We're going to speak more, especially about the NTN. This organization that has governed so many people and their emotional levels as well. Bhoomi sits as the head, so we're going to speak more when we do come back. You stick around. It's Take It Time. Welcome back to the show. We are speaking about the transgender community and the umbrella that covers so many stories and emotions. I want to speak to Dinushi a little bit. Dinushi, we were speaking about you have taken up education, you're a studious student, 7 A's. It's not, I'm sure all of you all must have done great things in studies.
No.
But there is a perception in this country, the minute you say that you're a transgender, they feel, cross-dresser, they just want to like dance in a club. That perception takes a long time to go, and I think recently people have started taking it seriously. Listen, just because you're a transgender doesn't change anything. You are educated, you are well-spoken, you are doing everything that another person will do, and I think Bhoomi can relate to that story better. But tell me, how was it for you, and how was it for you to come out and tell your story?
Actually, there was lots of barriers for me when it comes to myself, because I was born and bred in a very conservative background. Because I was from Gaul, so that was really conservative. People were so traditional, and they were thinking like really traditional ways, and they were just judging us in really traditional ways.
And how was your mom and dad with this?
My mom and dad was, at the beginning, they were like really annoyed by myself, because they thought that I'm doing something that is weird, and the other people would laugh at me, and I will be like some kind of a coward and all. So they were like really afraid of me, afraid the thing that I was doing. So they just avoid me using girly stuff, and they just stopped me using makeup and all, and pinky stuff, like,
Yeah. They found ways of being a stereotypical way of thinking. Yeah.
Yes. And I actually had to pretend myself as a boy until I was in grade 11.
And then you spoke to them about it?
Yes.
Was it hard to explain? Because for them to understand gay is one thing, but then to understand transgender and to understand that you're losing a son and gaining a daughter is like 3 levels of conversation.
Yes.
How was it for you to explain that?
It was like, at the beginning, my mother thought like that a boy being a girl is like stepping down 2 steps, stepping down. Like.
And that's your mother who thought that?
Yeah.
And she being...
Yeah. Being a girl is like stepping like 2 steps down, but being a boy is like stepping like 3 or 5 steps higher. So I can remember what she said when she got to know that I wanted to become a transgender, so transfer myself into a girl. So then she said, like, if your sister, I have a sister, and if your sister want to be a boy, I'll accept it. But for you, I will not. Because I need a son. You're my only son. Don't wanna lose you.
But was the conversation easier now?
Now it's really easy. They're really super, super, super accepting, and my father is the biggest supportive person ever.
For this, sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
For them to see it, and also the fact that you have made them proud, no matter what gender you are representing. I think that's what matters. End of the day, parents want a happy child, and it takes time to see that. Yeah. Now, people confuse the gay community and the trans community. as the president, can you please explain this to somebody who is watching?
Gay is a sexual orientation. As I said earlier also, like transgender is our identity. That, you know, sexual orientation, it's, I mean, like, I'll say it very simply. I don't want to put it in this way, but that's the very
Easiest way to understand.
easiest way
Okay.
to explain this.
Right.
Sexual orientation is something that with whom you are like to go to the bed.
Okay.
Right. So gender identity is like as who you want to go to the bed.
Oh, wow, okay. One
So-
is who you want to go to bed with, one is who do you want to go to bed as.
Yes.
Right.
So a person can be trans and gay. And as an example, like, I'm sorry, dude. So he can be a boy and he can get attracted to another boy. I can be a woman and I can get attracted to another woman. So sexual orientation and gender identities
Are two different things. You
Yes.
could want to be in a different body, but yet love the gender that you love.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gayan, as someone who doesn't fall into a category of gender, how have you explained this to your family?
Well, the truth is, I have been myself, and like I have doing like all the things that I have done, like with Bhoomi and with support with the community, other friends and allies. So I just made them realize it
Okay.
in myself.
You didn't have a conversation, you just made them see it.
I didn't want to actually, because this is not a European country, right? Because it will take a lot of time to like make sure your parents to like, you know, you have to have a lot of time with them to like talk about this thing. Like, I should mention this to you because very recently my mother was like, after an event, my mother was like, are you performing at clubs? I was like, what? So, yeah, I have seen your new WhatsApp picture. I'm like, yeah, isn't that pretty? I said, okay. So she was like, no, I saw your nail polish and stuff. She knows, obviously, she knows because I do all the nail polish and stuff at home as well. But it's really hard for her to admit it, and like, you know, so I didn't want to make her
I think
feel
more than
uncomfortable.
her, I think it's the people surrounding her
Exactly.
who might want to have an opinion and a conversation about it.
So I think what I do is right now is like, I'm just being myself, and I just want them to realize it and like, you know, help. I'm actually helping them out with it. So I didn't want to pressurize them for anything because I really love them. It doesn't matter whether they love me or not.
I'm sure they love you.
Yeah.
More to talk about when we do come back. Please stick around. Welcome back to the show. You know, we live in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is a country that's quite open in asking other people about their lives. For example, when they meet me, my God, you have eaten the shop, no? So these are statements that they'll always make. You know, my God, yaar and these things I always hear, and people do not stop saying these.
Yeah.
When it comes to someone who is transgender, I don't want to say it in a bad way. Even the crew, they had so many questions. They wanted to know. And it's curiosity, and it's what's in between their legs is a huge issue in terms of conversation. Isn't that something that you all have to deal with day in and day out?
So, like, when it comes to day-to-day stuff, like, people are thinking, people will judge us on anything. People will judge us on our skin tone.
You have great hair, by the way, just want to tell you that. Yeah.
Skin tone, and sometimes if you are too taller, then they are like, is she a girl or a boy? You can find a girl in this height in Sri Lanka, no? So this might be a boy that pretending to be a girl. So like then they're like giving looks like really. Then we are getting so annoyed by that because we actually need to live really peacefully. And
where do you get most judged? When you go into a washroom, like how do you choose the washroom? Do you do people look at you in the washroom like you know? And these are all like issues that you face day in. Whereas for us, it's just we will not think so much about going to the loo, but something, if you have to think of that, that's painful. How do you deal with that?
Then I just ignore those. That's the main thing that I do because I
have they complained? Like have
no,
the ladies?
no. I mean, according to my personal experiences, I've never been complained by those, but I have some experiences of my friends. So some people have like just say like really discriminative and
Lines.
words like so really verbally harassed there like in which kind of a gender or whatever you are called. I mean, you are like so. Most of the times that I'm getting discriminated in the public transportations because then we have to just sit like together. So the people sometimes I can remember when I started my transition, I was like neither a boy or a girl. So people refused to just sit the next to me.
And it definitely, because at the end of the day, what they forget to see is you're still human. Emotions, pain, tears, they're all the same for everyone. And you can't break that. Because I know Bhoomi has got tough with time. Bhoomi has become stronger, and I don't think anybody will want to even mess with Bhoomi. But as someone who heads the transgender community, do you advise them how to emotionally handle them?
Yes, most of the time.
Apart from hammering somebody.
Not really. So, the first advice that I give them, like, take your time. No rush to go, like, you know, for surgeries. And I mean, this is the advice that I give for like people who really want to go through this transitioning process.
Transition process, yeah.
So first, like, these days most of the school kids are talking to me. So the first advice that I give, education is the first thing that you need to focus on, because being a trans person is not a privilege to get opportunities.
It's a harder hurdle to pass.
Exactly. So like you can't demand a job by saying that, oh, I'm a trans person, like give me a job. Without a qualification, no one going to get a job. So to go through the transitioning process, you need a job and money, right? So to demand a job, you need kind of a qualification. So I'm always advising them, finish your school education first, and if you are getting opportunity to go to university, go for it. And we are here to support you, right? So that's the first advice that I give. And the second one, and I'm asking, like, take time to identify yourself, because that's the key of to the path, right?
Have people gone into transition and come back?
Yes, because the biggest problem, like, there are influences of lesbian women in sake of getting married legally in Sri Lanka. You know, the couple having a conversation and a person who looks like a boy going through the transitioning process, and when he's starting growing a beard and all the surgeries done, so the girl losing the attraction
because she fell in love with a girl. And now she...
So then after breakups, like, they are coming to us, like, saying that I really want to kill myself, my girl left me, this and that. So that's why I'm saying that always take your time. Decide whether you really want to go through this or not.
Kahless, because you're the guy here, I'm going to like ask you like...
Oh.
Well, you can call me anything.
He's non-binary. He told me that.
Yeah. I mean, like...
Sorry, Bhoomi, you lost this argument.
I'm just teasing you.
So, tell me, have people asked you
Have people asked me?
about would you go under the knife? Would you take such drastic decisions?
Yeah, people get really comfortable.
I know, and very personal, no?
Yeah, like people who barely even speak to me when I came out, they just like, so
What do you have
this?
now?
Yeah, like, no, like, are you going to have the surgery? So I'm like, the surgery? And they're like, yeah, you know, the trans surgery. You know, it's just like trans. That's what they think happens. So I'm like, okay, like especially when you don't know a person, you know, you can't just like trespass their boundaries and just ask them questions. It's like, so, what?
That's very Sri Lankan, though.
Such a, like, all these aunties and uncles, they get too comfortable. I'm like, y'all don't want to talk about sex with your children. You walk up to a stranger and you ask them about what's in their pants. You don't
How
care
do you
for
handle
sex
family parties?
I don't go to them. I'm uninvited. I'm serious. Like I don't go to them.
Oh, okay.
Bingo.
Right. I have to ask, because this is actually a question that was raised when I was putting the show together. What is the harder surgery? Being identified as a man and becoming a woman, or when you're born into as a woman and becoming a man? What is the harder surgery physically, not emotionally? Emotionally, it's a pain, it's the same emotions that everyone feels.
I mean, for me, it depends on how you're taking it. Because there are people, trans men, who had handled the surgery pains and recoveries very well. And there are worse cases. As an example, in one government hospital, for the first time in Sri Lanka, as I know, they tried the final surgery. Right?
For a man.
For a man,
Right.
and it failed twice, and it was like
Was
more
his
than,
life in risk at that time?
I mean, like mentally, he was like he wanted to die, and we had to like, convince him and try
Yeah.
motivate him.
So
and
they do those surgeries in Sri Lanka.
as trials.
Oh, you don't want to go through that risk.
Yeah, because like we are not guinea pigs
Yeah, true.
to demand someone to get their
Was it
skills and-
successful eventually for him?
What?
The final surgery, was it?
It's still
In
it's
the
kind
process.
of a complicating thing, because like recently he got done another surgery.
Oh God.
So it's kind of an attitude that some doctors really don't want to talk about it and get support and get trained on it. So I think it depends on the people how they are dealing with it.
Right. Getting into a break right now. When we do come back, I want to speak beyond their life, about the things that they have achieved in life and things that they are proud of. And that's what we need to celebrate on the other side. Do stick around. Welcome back to the show. So what's beyond all the challenges that they face? Now, Gayan is a musician and he loves pink. A lot of pink. Please show your earring once again. I think it's super cool. That's like Gem. Remember Gem?
I
the
loved
cartoon?
it.
There you go. All right. So tell me about your music career. How did you get into it?
So
You spent a lot of time with a music video.
Yeah,
I know that for sure.
I actually released my first single in 2017. It was dedicated to the love of my life. Like, it's complicated now. Anyway,
Is that love still there?
it's there, but we are not together anymore. But
You did a song for this love.
yeah.
So
No, I'm just saying that takes a lot. Okay.
So Precious was released for him, and then when it comes to Pink, so my I go as GaaPiNk. That's my brand is. So Ga is like I actually got influenced inspired by Lady Gaga, and Pink is kind of like it represents the kindness and love and like all the emotions. So I thought of like I should go as GaaPiNk.
And what's the legacy you want to leave back?
So for me, my biggest, I actually want to like do a vinyl of mine. Like I'm actually planning on it, and I just want to make sure that all the other kids, all the other community people who really wants to like perform as an artist or as a musician or whatever, to like they I
Find the
want them
courage.
to have the courage and I want them to have the support to do whatever the genre they want, because there were situations in my life people were like pointed me as oh, okay, you're just a pop artist, just pop, you can only do pop. But no, like people are like I'm kind of a person, I like to try a lot of things, it doesn't matter, it doesn't work if it doesn't work out actually, but still
You want to contribute the way you feel like it.
exactly.
Yeah. Amazing. Dinushi, you are now currently working with the
National Transgender Network.
okay, and you are the secretary in the organization.
Yes.
And apart from that, are you doing any other jobs or?
No, apart from that, I do SEMA.
Okay. And you're furthering in accounting.
Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody, like when you go for classes
Yeah.
and when you sit with your other students, how has that experience been? Especially in Colombo, coming from Gaul.
Yes.
Are they more understanding?
Yeah, I have to say yes, because people are really understanding in Colombo when it compares to people in Gaul. So, but when it comes to the first days in my transition, they were like really, they were also like really excited, confused, and like seeing like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, they were like talk me into my face, like smiling, and they were like
Say things behind your back.
Behind my back.
That's because of curiosity, I think.
Yeah,
Curiosity
I
and
think
also the
I
fact
don't
that-
blame on that. Yeah.
It's just like in Sri Lanka, which I've understood. Because we don't give proper sex education, people search for sex on Google and end up watching porn and thinking that sex is that.
Yes.
And then they go into a marriage or into a relationship and they're like, this is it? Because that is a fictional thing that is all set up and lights, and you can't. So if we give them proper information, they won't think of it as a magic
Yes.
show. Like,
Danu, I actually want to add something to that. And also, it's not just being homophobic or transphobic or anything. I think sometimes it happens because of their insecurities. So, we can't help it.
yeah. Kahless.
Gold medal.
So Kahless, you're a writer?
Yes.
Okay. And like,
And one of our board of trustees.
yeah.
I was just waiting for Bhoomi to add that because I'm not even sure I didn't get a contract or anything. So
Alrighty. I don't think board of trustees get paid.
I don't know.
No.
It's just, no.
It's just a prestigious title. That's about
Yes,
it.
it's a kind of a contribution that you give to the organization.
Yeah, there you go. That's what.
My presence.
When you decided to come out and speak about it and be a voice for it, because there are so many people who rather not be in the spotlight and they just want, like, enough with all the drama. I rather just live my life and go home.
Impressive.
What made you take that decision? And how are your parents now?
Well, actually, now they're quite supportive. I actually live with two friends of mine, Mish and Sue.
Okay.
So when I basically got kicked out of home after I came out, but I lived with them, and thanks to them, I was able to have a support network. But over time, I was able to convince my parents about how difficult it is to be me, and that this isn't a choice, because I didn't just wake up one day and decide, hey, I want to suffer for the rest of my life while society condemns my existence. That is not a decision anyone consciously makes. I want that oppression Olympics, right? So, but the thing is, like, I started to realize that my situation was much, much better than those of my fellow trans folks,
Yeah.
queer folks in general. And I just felt like people need to be louder and bolder about their existence, but not everyone can afford to do that. So every time we stand up and we fight and we show that we're not afraid of what society thinks of us, we're doing it for people who are in the closet, who are in unsafe situations, abusive households.
Or environment or communities that are not willing to
Yeah.
see beyond the stereotypical ways. This leads me to a question. This time around, Jaffna was loud and proud for Pride Month, and we had a lot of people from the transgender community standing in front of the library in Jaffna with pictures that came out, and it was a remarkable set of photographs that came out. Bhoomi, how was that experience, especially North, being isolated to development during the war over 30 years? As somebody who is from Jaffna, when I went soon after the war, I saw Jaffna the way I left it, and I was like, it's uncorrupt and just so like unfortunate. But today things are changing, and it's so wonderful to know that. How was it this time around? I think this time is when the pictures came out for the first time.
Yes, and this is the first time that it's not a first time in Sri Lanka. They have had, not in Jaffna, but there were sort of parades in Colombo as well.
Of course.
But that was the first time in Jaffna.
That is what I
things-
wanted to highlight.
yes. So it was like very impressive. I met Angel, who was one of the members who were leading an organization in Jaffna, the Jaffna Transgender Network. Yeah, actually, it was like super impressive, and I was talking to her like, how you managed it. So
Yeah,
like,
and is there abuse there for them on a bigger level than in Colombo?
It's everywhere, Danu, because it's just not like, like people might think just because Colombo is a kind of a, looks like a capital in Sri Lanka, but we don't have any abuses and stuff, but it happens here as well. It's just, like the level of violence is,
are different, and the way it's expressed is different.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was like quite impressive, as I said, and they have done it in a really good way, and they got supports as well. And yeah, I mean, like working in Jaffna with a very stereotypical background and a culture, which also respect transgenders according to the religions and cultures, but in practical life, in the ground level work, don't happen. But yeah, like the people who are working, they're also doing a really great job.
Would you call yourself the third gender, or would you all call yourself that fall into the same two genders?
So I think there is something else that needs to be said.
You looked a bit like about to hammer me. So I'm just asking this question because in India they have created the third box. So that's what I'm asking.
No, I don't think so. There are reasons for that, and
Give it to me. I want to learn as much as others are there as well.
third gender is a very specific thing. It's a very cultural thing as well, and it's unique to certain communities in India. We can't claim that title for ourselves.
Not only India, in the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
Asian
and other
countries. Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Joining, I want to say Desi countries,
Yeah, Asian
Sure.
countries, yes.
and so I don't think I can claim that for me. That's not my word to claim.
So you would like to be known as a man, and
Yes.
that's it.
Trans is an adjective. A short man is still a man. A tall woman is still a woman,
That is true.
right? So trans is an adjective. It does not mean I'm a different species. I'm not a transgender, just like you're not a tall or you're not a short. You are a short person. You're a transgender person. So that's just something that we need to keep in mind. Jesus.
That
And
was so well
also,
put.
Like, you can have your own POV, but still respect.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what we
that's a
want.
part of the diversity, and we all are different.
I really want to speak about beyond Colombo, the issues that happen, and how we could be change makers for that as well when we do come back. Welcome back to the show. It's so wonderful to have a conversation with them. So open, so honest. And I actually told them when I started the show, in case I make a mistake, please do tell me. Because sometimes that is the whole process of getting awareness about it. That's the most important thing. We feel and we see the trans community in Colombo, but beyond Colombo, there's so much of problems. As an organization, you all would have faced some of these cases. Tell me one or two that have been so pressing that needs to be highlighted.
So sometimes they do family rapes to correct trans men to become a woman.
Huh?
Right. Yes, like as an example, if your daughter wants to become a man, sometimes father, brother's friends, father's friends trying to abuse and rape that kid to make that kid so-called normal woman, because they think having an experience and feeling with a natural penis will make them to realize this is not what I want, and
But and
this
the
that.
community will support it because they feel like, "Oko tomai harima de."
What? Sorry, I didn't get you.
The community will support it, like the mother and all those. In
Yeah,
the,
because they really, they won't care about like whether your kid is getting raped or abused, as long as they are getting their child back to normal.
oh God.
Right? So things like happening like that, and there are so many human rights violations cases that coming to us.
What's the most painful case that you all have worked with?
All cases are painful, Danu,
Like
because
something that has left a mark in your life for good?
so Trisha, there was a girl who bit aggressive, and bit of stubborn, just because she became stubborn because of the things that she had to go through. Like in her school, that she didn't have friends, and she
And she's
used to
really
call me
young,
mother.
right?
Sorry.
She's really
yeah.
young,
If she's alive, like she's
If she's alive,
yes, she passed. I mean, she killed herself.
She
She
killed.
hanged and died.
She committed suicide.
It was kind of a shocking thing to me because we had fights, because I always advise her to finish her education, and she just, I mean, too many cooks going to spoil the soup. So that's what happened. Just because she didn't get the advices which she was looking for, because she wanted to start the transition process as soon as possible, which I didn't advise, because I said, like, go to a doctor and get a proper medication. But she had tried medicines without doctor's prescriptions, because there are some people outside of the community who also from the community, you know, like giving like stupid advices to kids and stuff.
not the practical ones, just
Exactly.
emotionally driven ones.
Yeah. So like the last conversation that I had, she got kind of a heartbreak just because one of her friends stopped their friendship, just because that person is getting bullied from the other students.
Because he's or she's friends with.
Yes, right. So she was like so upset about it, and one day I can remember like her mother like called me and shouted like, "You are destroying my kid." Then I slowly explained like, don't rush her anything now for anything, because the education is the most important thing. Show some support and let her decide like what she want to become in future after her education, because she was a bright kid and she wanted to become a doctor to support the community. But somehow, due to the pressure that she got from the family and school, we lost her.
So, Kahless, you were telling me about something that was very interesting, and Gayan was very much on your same page. Can you all tell me more about how this whole trans man, woman, born into the wrong body statement that is quite used all around?
See, trans people are not a monolith. We're not a homogeneous bunch. We are all varied individuals with our own thoughts and feelings about our transness. Some people would believe that they were born in the wrong body. They might want to distance themselves from it. They might want to change it. There are other people, whether they're binary trans men or women, whether they're non-binary, gender fluid, or any gender that they are, they might feel like, oh, my body is not wrong. I'm happy with my body. But some of them might also want to change it as well. They might want to get on HRT. So the wrong body narrative should not be at the forefront. Our bodies are not inherently wrong, because that's the kind of message that's being sent. Oh, a trans person transitioned because their bodies were wrong. That's the kind of message that is being delivered right now, and it's not right, because we're excluding a massive, massive segment of our
That
community.
doesn't, yeah.
So
And also
There are
sometimes basically it's your mind and your body on two different pages.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people who are happy with their body and still identifying as themselves as women or men.
Have you been, when people ask you, why don't you transition, what do you tell them?
I'm happy with my beard. I love it. So why do
Yeah.
I have to go through the
Not everyone
process?
can grow a beard as well.
Exactly.
It's so hard.
And I mean, like, come on. You have to respect other people.
Look at this person's
So,
reaction.
like, first thing is that you really have to respect other people's opinions and all.
Exactly.
And discrimination can be happening like many ways. It can be direct or indirect, or like,
Yeah.
it could be some sort of an harassment or victimization. So, like, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Before we wrap things up, how would you tell me, if somebody wants to reach out and get through to you personally, privately, to ask the community to help them, how can they reach out?
Actually, they can reach out for our organization via our hotline and general line. We have 2 lines, so they can reach out to us by that. And we have a website and
Facebook, Instagram.
yeah, Instagram,
Twitter.
Facebook.
If
and-
there is abuse, physical abuse, and they go to the police station, are they willing to help?
Who?
Yes.
We?
The police.
Depends.
Sometimes.
Depends on who
Depends.
you end up with.
Yes.
And if not, if they go with you all, they have a bigger stay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have already provided some legal supports, and sometimes personally we have been in the police stations.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm so happy that I was able to speak to such strong individuals, not beyond a sexual conversation. It was so great to know the personalities that you all have become, to create awareness, to speak your mind and be an ambassador. You're feeling shy, no?
Why?
He was looking down like,
I've been looking down most of the time. You only notice now.
Very bad.
all right. Well, absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so very much for coming. The minute I asked you guys, you were all willing to, and I'm so grateful. And Bhoomi, I have seen Bhoomi grow. The first time I met Bhoomi was in 2009. I think I told you the story. Bhoomi was wearing a white sari and a black jacket, and I thought, my, what's it? So from that day to today, Bhoomi, you have transformed into a stronger, independent and an opinionated person that people sit down and listen and respect, and that is amazing. Well done.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to everyone for being here, and all of you have proven so much, and it has been absolutely a pleasure. We will see you with another cool episode to date with Danu. Till then, you keep smiling, and thank you for joining us on this special episode of The Naked Truth.